Hey everyone, so today we will be looking at the Claymore. Yes, we are reviewing one of the more famous weapons in all of Dark Souls history. Now, the Claymore, like most greatswords, is truly a powerful weapon. Um, so, my usual setup with the greatsword is to have a dagger offhand. I prefer the normal dagger just because it's lighter than the Corvian Great Knife, has less stat requirements, and still has 130 critical. So, I mean, the critical doesn't really matter, but because you won't really be going crit damage, you won't really be parrying or anything like that. But what you will be doing is using the weapon art, which is like a flank roll. It's called Quick Step, and it's really good. As long as you have focus, you get iframes. I find it more reliable than my glitchy as heck rolls, but that's just me. Anyways, it also allows you to pull off a quick hit to finish off an enemy, or poise break an enemy who's mid-attack, allowing you to get in a bunch of swings with the Claymore and do some heavy damage. So I just find it a very good tech weapon to pair with a greatsword. I just find it a super nice thing to use with a greatsword. And it's a lot lighter than most shields, so I find it really nice. How early can you get the Claymore? And since I find it a good tech, the dagger can be found as early as the Tower on the Wall bonfire by farming the right enemy. And the Claymore can be found on the path between the High Wall of Lothric bonfire and the Tower on the Wall bonfire at High Wall of Lothric by dodging a bunch of fire and picking it up. Now, the Claymore requires 16 strength, 13 dex to wield. So basically, if you choose tonight, you only have to put 4 upgrades into your stats to use the Claymore. Not too bad. It's one of the more early game powerhouse weapons. A lot of people, myself included, like the Claymore. Of course, I just like all great swords. The Claymore is a very powerful weapon. I don't like it as much as the Flamberge, but I mean, come on, the Flamberge is powerful. So is the Claymore, but... So yeah, I do like the fact that it's simply a great sword, and everyone thinks it's just like the bee's knees that it has a thrust attack, and I find it useful, but not like anything weapon changing. There are times when being able to stagger your enemies from further away with the best type of damage to counterattack with. There are times when that is super useful, but the thing I really like about great swords is they do a lot of damage with good speed, and they're not too heavy or require too much stat allocation. They're a weapon that just to use it, you don't have to put much effort into it, and they're a very easy to master weapon, so you can really start working on making your build stronger for them way quicker. And the Claymore is no exception. In fact, the Claymore emphasizes on that maybe more than most. It's not my favorite greatsword, but just the fact that it is a greatsword makes it one of my favorite weapons in the game. Greatswords were really my first love in Dark Souls 3. So, the Claymore in particular, it's sort of your generic greatsword. It has the stance weapon art, which, as much as I don't believe it fits a straight sword, I think it's super, super nice on a greatsword because they just have the reach to pull off such a move. And because of the higher damage of a greatsword, it does significantly more damage. The Claymore isn't as long as the Flamberge, but it makes up for that with a thrust attack. But note that the slash is a slight bit faster. The Claymore is a very, very powerful weapon, and one of the first weapons I ever used in Dark Souls 3. It's also one of the weapons you're quite likely to see in the arena. At least I noticed it a lot when I watch YouTube. It's a very versatile weapon with multiple ways you can play it. It can be used on almost any build. Actually, scratch that. It can be used on any build except Luck, because Luck kind of requires weapons that do frost, poison, or bleed damage, just because of the nature of what the build is. Or that scale with Luck, which is only Henri's sword. Henri the Stora. But yeah, it can be used on pretty much any build. It's not too heavy. It's got nice physical. It's got, the standard greatsword moveset. So yeah, I like the Claymore. It's not my favorite greatsword in the world, but it is a Claymore. It is a greatsword. So yeah, that's what I think of the Claymore. And like always, never use the jump attack. In my opinion, greatswords actually have one of the worst jump attacks in the entire game. And jump attacks are already bad. Anyways, that's what I think of the Claymore. It's a nice weapon, very versatile, good for a beginner, because it's super easy to master and super powerful. It's not exactly my favorite greatsword, but it's still pretty cool.